Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
The 14th anniversary broadcast of Gangbusters, going back to January 7th, 1950. This episode is entitled The Case of the Golden Touch.
And now, Gangbusters! Gangbusters, presented in cooperation with police and federal law enforcement departments throughout the United States. The only national program that brings you authentic police case histories. Tonight, Gangbusters celebrates its 14th anniversary. Since its beginning in 1936, Gangbusters has presented over 600 actual police case histories and aided in the apprehension of over 350 wanted criminals.
Tonight, Gangbusters has asked the Honorable John C. Hilley, Assistant United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, to narrate tonight's Case of the Golden Touch. Mr. Hilley.
Thank you, Roger Foster. And good evening, Gangbusters listeners. Tonight's case began rather inauspiciously late one night, not too many months ago in a diner on the Lower West Side of New York. This diner was frequented mainly by dock wallopers from nearby piers and drivers and loaders from the nearby truck terminals. A wiry young man in work clothes was sitting at the counter over a cup of coffee when a heavy-set man walked toward the empty stool beside him.
Hello, Ralph. How's the coffee?
Oh, Victor. Hi.
Cup of coffee. Black?
Gotcha, drawer.
Where you been keeping yourself, Ralph?
Been working.
Good. Glad to hear it. Where?
Woods trucking.
Yeah, doing what?
I'm checking loads. I gotta get back, Victor. See you around.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll walk part of the way with you.
What about your coffee?
The coffee here stinks. Here you are, bud. Forget the coffee, will you? You're looking great, Ralph.
Yeah. Was feeling great, too.
After you, Ralph?
Thanks. I go this way.
I've been looking for you, Ralph.
That's so?
Yeah. Want you to get me a load.
Well, don't look my way, Victor. I had enough.
Well, I got everything set. I got a big buyer uptown, lots of dough.
Look, I like dough as well as the next guy, but I don't want to take another fall, so that's that.
No, you won't take any fall. Nobody will take a fall. You get me a load of Scotch whiskey, we'll make a nice piece of change. A buyer will pay $25 a case for all we can get.
Look, I don't want to get jammed up again, Victor. It ain't worth it. I like breathing free air.
Well, think it over, kid, and let me know. Can I meet you someplace after work?
No, not tonight. I gotta meet Dee Dee for a drink after.
Oh, date with the wife, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, Ralph, I'll be in touch with you. You think it over, huh?
But I don't...
Just think it over. You'll get 2.5 G's for doing nothing. So long, Ralph.
Yeah. So long. Really, baby, I didn't come here to talk foolish. I came to enjoy a drink.
Look, Ralph, it stands to reason. You gotta get that load for Victor. What have you got to lose?
What have I got to lose? I'll tell you what I got to lose. Got another several years off my life to lose.
Has Victor taken a fall yet? Has he?
I ain't worried about Victor. I'm worried about myself. These FBI's ain't dumb, you know. Truckload of liquor out of my terminal gets hijacked, I'll be the first guy they talk to.
So what good in talking, get 'em?
No.
How do you ever expect to get anywhere in this world if you don't take a chance?
Say, listen, baby, whose side are you on anyway? Has Victor been talking to you?
To me? Why should Victor be talking to me?
How did he find out where I was? How did he find out I was working again in the truck terminal?
Well, don't ask me. There are millions of ways of finding out those things if you want to find them out.
Yeah.
Ralph, I'm telling you, you're passing up the opportunity of a lifetime. It's like money in the bank. Victor already has a buyer lined up.
Oh, if I had any sense, I'd go right to the FBI with this thing. Right to the FBI and tell them all about it.
Now, wouldn't that be just lovely?
But Guess I got no sense.
Oh, Ralph, I knew you'd do it. I just knew it.
Special Agent Service talking.
Hello, Mr. Service. I don't know if you remember me. You had me up on hijacking a couple of years ago.
What's your name? I'll remember you.
Well, that can keep for a minute, Mr. Service. But would you FBI's like to break up a hijacking before it starts?
I think we would. What's it all about?
Well, a certain party has come to me and asked me to line up a load of liquor. I don't want to get jammed up again, Mr. Service. I'm clean. I want to stay clean.
Why don't you come here and tell me about it?
Oh, well, look, Mr. Service, how about City Hall Park, huh? City Hall Park in a half an hour.
Okay. But who is this?
Well, it's Ralph Sarek, Mr. Service. Remember?
Yes. Okay, Ralph, City Hall Park in half an hour. Hello, Ralph.
Oh. Well, Mr. Service.
Come on, let's sit down on the bench there.
No, I think we better walk.
Sure.
Maybe this wasn't such a good place to meet after all, in broad daylight like this.
You don't think anybody's behind you?
I don't know about that. I wouldn't put it past Victor.
Victor Rossi?
Yeah, Victor Rossi. He's the one.
Hold it here. Hey, taxi!
Where are we going?
We can talk riding around. Get in, Ralph.
Okay. Yeah.
Head up down, driver. So it's Victor who wants you to get him alone.
Yeah, that's right, Mr. Service. Ain't that good information for you? I always knew you wanted to make Victor.
This isn't a make, Ralph.
Well, isn't it? I
Tell me something, Why didn't you get him alone?
Oh, look, Mr. Service, I don't want to do any more time. I had enough in there.
Why didn't you just tell Victor no and forget about it?
Well, you know how it is, Mr. Service. By not getting him the load, I passed up a 2.5G touch at least. I figured it... Well, you know, the government's so anxious to get a make on Victor to collar him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Ralph, I know what you mean. But the government doesn't pay out money to anybody unless they work for it.
Work? Work how, Mr. Service?
You find that load for Victor. We'll let him hijack it.
We will?
We will. That's the only way we'll get a make on him.
Oh, but Mr. Service...
It's settled, isn't it?
Yeah, it's settled.
And keep your ears open.
Keep my ears open.
I want all the information you can bring me about the buyer. My boss wants the buyer as bad as he wants Victor. Worse than he wants Victor.
Yeah, the buyer.
Well, Ralph, how do you think you'll like working for the government?
It's going to be hard to get used to, Mr. Service. Awful hard.
Yes?
Me, Victor. Val.
Okay, just a second.
Oh, Victor.
Well?
Got your load, Victor.
Yeah? What?
1,150 cases of scotch. How's that?
Yeah, that sounds all right. When's it coming in?
The ship docks tomorrow over in Jersey, Hoboken.
How's it come over? Through the Holland Tunnel?
No, on the Cortlandt Street ferry. When something lands in Hoboken, we always bring it over on the ferry.
Well, it ain't much of a ride from the ferry up to your terminal. Yeah, we'll have to grab the truck on the ferry.
Hey, can you do that?
Well, sure, why not? How many men on the truck?
2, driving a helper.
Yeah, there won't be any trouble. You're sure it's 1,100 and some cases?
Listen, I've seen a manifest.
Okay, Ralph. It's a deal.
10%?
10%.
Yeah. Is this one buyer going to take it all at $25 a case?
Every drop.
Can he handle it all?
Yeah, he's a big operator uptown. He's got a string of small clubs. He can handle it all right.
Yeah. Do I know him?
What are you so interested in a buyer for?
Me? I don't know. I just want to be sure.
Sure of what?
Well, listen, I'm a part of this deal. I'm entitled to have the facts, don't you think?
I'm telling you the facts.
Okay.
So don't worry about it.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Well, stop wondering. Everything's taken care of. How about a drink on it?
No, thanks. I got to run along. I got to meet Dee Dee.
Oh? Well, have a good time.
Don't I always?
Now, give my regards to Dee Dee.
Yeah, I will. So long, Victor. You'll hear from me when I get the information.
All right, Ralph. I'll be waiting.
Yeah, tomorrow sometime. Just sit tight.
Yeah. Baby.
Is he gone?
Yeah, he's gone. Gone to meet you.
I forgot to tell him. I'm tied up.
You're a smart kid, Edie. Roping him in like that when he didn't want to be roped.
I got a system, Victor.
Give me a kiss, baby.
No.
Come on.
Please, Victor.
Listen, what are you getting, Coy?
It's all part of my system. You'll get your kiss when I'm ready.
You're a smart kid. You're too smart for Ralph, huh?
You said it, Victor.
You're too smart for me. I want something I want it. Now, come here.
Oh, Victor.
But I like you, baby.
I like you, too.
Too bad you're married to Ralph, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tough.
After we make this touch, we'll get around to doing something about it. Okay?
Okay.
Well, Gangbusters listeners, that's how this case progressed. An FBI informant was in on the plans of the liquor hijacking as the conspiracy got underway. But even the best laid traps are in danger of springing too soon or snaring the wrong game.
January 7th, 1950, Gangbusters on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more, the 14th anniversary edition of Gangbusters, January 7th, 1950.
And once again, here's tonight's narrator, the Honorable John C. Hilley, Assistant United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York.
Well, as I was telling you, FBI agents of the New York field office had an informant planted a ring of liquor hijackers. And as information came to him, Special Agent Larry Service brought it to his supervisor, John Humphrey.
John, Ralph just phoned. He said Victor took the bait. He'll go after the load on the ferry. Good. The buyer's supposed to be a nightclub owner. No information on the drop. I wonder if Ralph knows his wife has been seeing Victor. I doubt it. What do you think he'll do when he finds out? I'm just as worried about what he'll do if he doesn't find out. Whatever he tells Dee Dee's going to be relayed to Victor as fast as she can get there. Yeah, I know, Larry. He said he hasn't told a soul about his connection with us, but there aren't many secrets between a man and his wife. Well, maybe we won't have anything to worry about. The touch will come off tomorrow. John. Yeah? Ralph keeps warning me Victor might get rough with the drivers. We'll take care of that, Larry. You and I are going to be the drivers. Oh, that takes care of it all right, doesn't it? Yeah. Takes care of it fine. That drive onto the ferry's awful narrow, John. You sure you can wheel this trailer through there? I'm going to try, I'll tell you that. Where'd you learn to push one of these things anyway? Never even been in one until yesterday. Oh, great. You're doing okay. Take a look through that mirror, Larry. See how our friends are doing. They're still back there. The car and all for them. You gotta hand it to Victor. He knows his business.
Okay, try that rig on a boat.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah.
Watch this side. Easy there. Okay, go ahead. Not bad, huh? Not bad. I thought you were going to take a bulkhead with you. Oh, no, it wasn't that close. It was close enough. I'm telling you, I'm going to feel a lot safer in Victor's hands than I felt riding in this thing with you. Keep your fingers crossed anyway. If he wants to be, he can be plenty tough. You're telling me. But if we're as meek as lambs, he won't bother with any rough stuff. John, you never saw a meeker lamb. Well, here we go. Hey, John. Over there. A couple of our men. Mac and James. Good. They're the ones who are going to tail the truck, right? That's right. Oh, that's a tough assignment. Thank goodness that didn't happen to me. Come on, let's go out and get a smoke, huh? Yeah, I could use something. Go on. Victor's boys are getting out of that car. Yeah, looks like the moment. Did you know that they were crying for help in the Bureau of Census, the Department of Commerce? Is that so? Yeah, I just happen to have an application here in my pocket. Take out your pack. Give me a cigarette. Oh. Here comes Victor. Yeah. Have a cigarette? Thanks.
Hello, boys. Nice day on the river, ain't it?
Yeah. Smells better today.
Now, listen to me. That truck of yours, I'm going to take it.
What? Who are you kidding?
I got 4 boys standing around here. They all got guns, and they're all itching for target practice. You understand me?
That's pretty plain.
So I'm taking the truck.
Oh, now listen.
Look, Bud, I got nothing against you. All I want is that load. But if I have to kill you to get it, you're going to get killed. Now, you wouldn't want to die over a lousy load of Scotch whiskey, would you?
You got a point.
Okay. Walk on back past your rig. There's a sedan there right behind it. Go on, watch.
Yeah.
Keys in the truck?
Yeah, they're in there.
Okay. Keep watching. You're doing fine, boys. You got lots of sense. Okay. Pile in.
Hey, look.
Get in.
Come on, Johnny. Don't get any place arguing. Yeah, I guess I won't.
That's the attitude, boys. Now, here. There's some goggles for you. Put them on. Don't try to look out through them. It won't do you any good. The glass is painted over. Just sit there and relax. For relaxing, there's nothing like a ferry ride across the Hudson.
There.
Hey, Dee Dee, be careful with that coffee. It's hot.
You're lucky I don't pour it over your head.
What's the matter with you anyway?
I'd just like to know why you're sitting here at 11 o'clock in the morning drinking your 3rd cup of coffee when right now the load is being delivered to the drop.
Listen, baby. First of all, I worked at the terminal till 1 o'clock this morning, so I'm entitled to drink as much coffee as I want at 11. Second, I done my part. Victor don't need me anymore. Besides, I don't know where the drop is. Pass the sugar.
Brother, are you small potatoes? Here.
I mean, I'm small potatoes. Don't throw things around like that.
You're the key man in the operation, and you get a stinking 10%.
Ain't 10% enough for you?
You want to know the truth? No.
Okay, do it out then.
What kind of a big dealer do you think you are? I don't need you, Mr. Small Potato.
Oh, now,
I can go where the big money is. Why should I wait around for you to get up a little nerve?
Dee Dee.
You're through. And you don't know it. Huh? It's me and Victor. Victor, you heard that. Victor. It's been going on for months.
You're kidding.
Am I? We were just waiting for this touch to make it final.
Yeah? Well, you'll see how final it is. You'll see where Victor winds up.
You'll wind up 3 notches above you.
Yeah, you can go visit him in Atlanta.
Where?
Oh, come on, Dee Dee. Sit down and let's be like a man and wife should be.
Where did you say I could visit Victor?
Now, Dee Dee...
Have you sung to the FBI on this deal?
Oh, baby.
You have, haven't you? I should have known you would. Victor will kill you.
Dee Dee, where are you going?
Where do you think I'm going? I'm going to find Victor.
Dee Dee!
Next floor, boys. Just hang on to the railing and you'll be okay.
Listen, I can't see anything.
That's just the idea of the goggles. Hang on to the railing. Okay, you up front. That's the last step. Follow that railing around.
Yeah. Railing.
Okay, stop here. Inside.
Inside where?
Come on, this way. Now sit down on the floor. Both of you.
Yeah, but what...
Sit down. Now listen. I'm leaving one of my boys outside the door for 10 minutes. I want you to keep those glasses on and stay still. You get me?
Yeah, we get you.
Now, you've been pretty good boys, both of you. So here's a little something for your trouble. Don't spend it all in one place. Remember, 10 minutes. I'll see you.
You okay, John?
Yeah, Larry. You can take the glasses off. That 10 minutes routine was just a bluff.
Hey, look. He handed us $20 apiece.
Generous guy, isn't he?
Where are we, anyway?
I'd say it's a condemned tenement house.
Well, let's get going.
Now, we better wait a few minutes anyway, just in case. Then I want to call the office and see if they followed the truck to the drop okay.
Special Agent Dean.
Hello, Dean. John Humphrey.
Hello, John. Everything okay?
Yeah, fine. Where's the drop? Where'd they take the truck?
A small garage on Murray Street, number 653. Mac and James are keeping it under surveillance.
I see.
Something's going wrong, though.
What?
Well, Ralph phoned a few minutes ago. He said Dee Dee accidentally found out he was singing, and she's on her way to Victor.
Oh, no.
That's what he said.
Look, get hold of Mac and James. Tell them if she shows up at the drop to pick her up quietly and bring her in.
Right, okay.
Meantime, Service and I'll try to locate her elsewhere. We've got to grab her before she sees Victor. If we don't, we'll never make that buyer.
Yeah, who is it?
Victor home?
No, he isn't. What do you want?
Look, I got business with him. I'm buying some stuff off him. Some stuff that just come in today.
Okay. He's down unloading the
Hiya,
stuff. Now,
Dee Dee.
listen.
Special agents of the FBI.
I don't care what you are. You can't come busting in here.
We're in. So you haven't seen Victor yet.
What's it to you?
It's plenty to us. You just come along, you'll find out.
Get your hands off of
Dee
me.
Dee, don't get stubborn. Come on, let's go. We're getting you out of here before Victor comes back, and we have to carry you. You might just as well come along like a good little girl.
Well, in the doorway.
The conclusion of Gangbusters, January 7th, 1950. The Case of the Golden Touch. And Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues in a few moments. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now the conclusion of Gangbusters, January 7th, 1950.
Hello, Mr. Service.
Step in here.
Look, I'm sorry I'm so late. I can't find Dee Dee any place. She must have gone to Victor. They must have skipped together.
Don't worry about Dee Dee. We've got her.
You have?
We found her at Victor's place before she had a chance to talk to Victor.
How do you like that, Mr. Service? Look what she does to me. After I give her the best years of my life.
Yeah, it's rough.
I could murder that Victor. But Dee Dee, I still love her. Ain't that strange? I could go back to her on bended knee.
Well, you've got a little something else to do for us first.
Yeah? What, for instance?
We'll know who the buyer is when he takes delivery. Then we can nail him.
Yeah, that's what a guy gets for buying merchandise with heat on it.
But we'll get Victor when he pays you off.
I was thinking, is there any chance I could keep the money? After all, no, I guess not, huh?
You guessed right, Ralph. That's our evidence against the buyer. But you just wait till the job's finished. Now, where do you think your payoff will be?
I don't know. I got no idea.
Well, try to make it some public place, a bar maybe. Some place where we can watch the transaction and step in as soon as the change is made.
And now, Gangbusters.
Hello, Ralph. How are you?
For crying out loud, Victor. How long do you want me to sit and wait for you?
How are things going, Ralph?
Come on, give me my end of the score. Let's get out of here.
What's the matter? Dee Dee waiting for you someplace?
What do you got Dee Dee so much in your mind for? Come on, pay off.
Look, Ralph. I could find a market for all the loads you line up.
There ain't gonna be any more loads. I pushed my luck far enough.
You and Dee Dee going on a vacation?
I ain't seen Dee Dee in 3 days.
You haven't?
No, she run out of me.
Oh, no, that's too bad, Ralph. But here, this ought to cheer you up.
Thanks.
$2,875. It's all in that envelope.
Yeah, it better be.
Now I got a big piece of news for you, Ralph.
Hmm?
I got a wire from Dee Dee. She's in Atlantic City waiting for me. Here, how do you like that?
Yeah. I got a big piece of news for you. You're gonna get this...
Victor. Hey, what's going on here?
Special agents of the FBI.
Yes, so, well,
Hey, watch him. He's got a gun. Sure, I got a gun.
Give me that.
Go on.
Beautiful, John.
Let me at him. I'll tear him apart. I'll break his back.
Okay, Ralph, now take it easy.
Stealing Dee Dee like that. Stealing a man's wife. I'll tear him apart.
He's had enough for now. Let him sleep this off.
Yeah. Yeah, let him sleep this off.
All right, you people, stand back. Come on, it's all over. There's nothing to see. Come on now, there's nothing to see.
Hey, Mr. Service, you know something? I kind of like this working for the government. Hey, there must be something to this civil service business.
Sure, Ralph. There's a lot to it. You don't make much money, but there's always plenty of laughs.
That, Gangbusters listeners, was how this hijacking syndicate was broken up. The leader, his accomplices, and the buyer of the stolen merchandise were all tried in federal court and received the maximum penalties. It was the hard work of agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation in skillfully using an informant that wrapped this case together.
Well, thank you, Assistant United States Attorney John C. Hilly, for this most amazing case history. And Gangbusters, congratulations to all the FBI agents who participated in this difficult investigation.
And now we take you back to Gangbusters. Tonight marks the 14th anniversary of Gangbusters in its crusade against crime. At this milestone, it is indeed a great pleasure to bring you a message from the Honorable James A. Pride, Chief of the Washington State Patrol.
Hearty congratulations to Gangbusters on its 14th anniversary of splendid service. The long history of the program and the enthusiastic response of listeners everywhere are proof of success. May this anniversary be more than a recapitulation of past accomplishment. May it mark a milestone of success, which may continue for many years to come.
The next message comes from the Honorable Carl G. Bachman, Mayor of the city of Wheeling, West Virginia.
Congratulations to Gangbusters on its 14th anniversary. Gangbusters has done an outstanding job of helping the American people to understand more fully the work police officers and enforcement agencies are doing for their protection.
And finally, the Honorable Homer Garrison, Jr., Director of the Texas Department of Public Safety, has this to say.
Hearty congratulations to Gangbusters for its 14 fruitful years of enlightenment and entertainment to the public, and its aid to the cause of law enforcement and justice. No better justification for its continued existence can be offered than that it may persevere in advancing in the public's conscience the individual responsibility of each citizen in the perpetual war of law and order versus crime.
Thank you, Director Garrison, Mayor Bachman, and Chief Pride, for these fine tributes to Gangbusters on its 14th anniversary. Your words will serve as a great challenge throughout the years to come. Tonight's case was dramatized by Stanley Niss and directed by George Zachary, with Carl Eastman and Chuck Webster in leading roles. Roger Foster speaking. Gangbusters is a Phillips H. Lord production.
From January 7th, 1950, Gangbusters on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. If you love Paul Harvey and his wonderful attitude, you will find Bill Stern Sports Newsreel a quite the same thing. And while the stories may not always be factual, they are entertaining. The Bill Stern Sports Newsreel with guest Eddie Cantor, as it was broadcast January 7th, 1949.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bill Stern speaking to you tonight from Hollywood, California.
Bill Stern, the Colgate Shave Cream Man, is on the air. Bill Stern, the Colgate Shave Cream Man, with stories rare. Take his advice and you'll look keen. You'll get a shave that's really clean. You'll be a Colgate brushless fan.
The 480th edition of the Colgate Shave Cream Sports Newsreel.
Featuring America's most famous collector of yarns and stories, radio's #1 sports reporter, Bill Stern.
Good evening. Here we go again with strange, incredible stories, some legendary, some hearsay, but also interesting. We'd like to pass them along to you. Tonight we're in Hollywood, California, where we're broadcasting the Los Angeles Open Golf Tournament. And from Hollywood tonight, our guest is the famous star of stage, screen, and radio, Eddie Cantor. But before you meet Eddie Cantor in person, here is Reel 1, Portrait of a Great Man. Tonight we're broadcasting from the city where dreams sometimes come true, Hollywood, California. And this is the story of a dream. And yet it didn't begin here in Hollywood. No, this dream began 3,000 miles away in New York. Many years ago, on New York's Lower East Side, there lived a youngster. His name was Izzy Iskowitz. Izzy was like thousands of other poor boys in New York City. His parents were gone, and he roamed the streets taking care of himself as best he could. One cold winter's day, he was playing basketball with some neighborhood boys. Playing basketball when he noticed a little crippled youngster watching them play. The little crippled youngster was watching Izzy with such interest that finally Izzy walked over and he began to talk to the little crippled boy. Izzy felt sorry for the youngster. From then on, whenever he could, Izzy would always stop and talk to that little boy until they became good friends. They went everywhere together. That is, they went everywhere together until the week before Christmas, when the little crippled youngster disappeared. Izzy looked everywhere for his little friend, but he couldn't find him. And he didn't find him until the night before Christmas, when he accidentally found him hiding in a basement. Izzy immediately asked the youngster why he was hiding. The little crippled boy didn't speak for a moment, and then he said,
I came down here because when I see everybody else getting Christmas presents, it makes me sad. I never had a Christmas present in my life. So I sort of figured I'd just stay out of everybody's way until Christmas was over.
That night, Izzy determined that somehow his little friend would have a Christmas present. True, Izzy didn't have any money, but somehow he'd get him a present, even if he had to steal it. That's why the next day, Izzy did try to steal a little toy, but just as he stole that toy, he was caught. Because Izzy was only a little boy, they took him before a children's counselor. This children's counselor was an older man. He asked Izzy why he'd stolen that toy. Izzy told that children's counselor that he'd stolen that toy so that his little crippled friend might have his first Christmas present. The children's counselor thought for a moment, and then he said,
Izzy, if you continue to steal, you'll wind up in jail. Will you promise me you'll never steal again?
I promise you.
All right, Izzy, I believe you. Now, because you gave me your promise, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You get your little friend and both of you be my guests on Christmas. I'll see that he gets a present. You just leave that to me.
The children's counselor kept his word. He gave little Izzy and his friend a wonderful Christmas party. There was a tree and presents and good things to eat. And as little Izzy saw those presents, he made a vow.
Someday, if I can, so help me, I'll see that others are taken care of at Christmas time.
That all happened many years ago. Yet Izzy never forgot what that children's counselor had told him. Maybe you'd like to know who that children's counselor was. He later became famous as the governor of the state of New York. But his name was Al Smith. And as for little Izzy, well, he too grew up to be a famous man. Today, the whole country knows him as Eddie Cantor. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Cantor in person, star of stage, screen, and radio, the world-famous Eddie Cantor.
Thank you, Bill Stern.
Eddie, do you still remember that vow that you made way back your first Christmas?
I certainly do. I swore that someday, if I could, so help me, I'd see that others were taken care of at Christmas time.
And Eddie, how you have made that vow come true. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that Eddie Cantor is the head of a great idea called Give a Gift to a Yank Who Gave? This wonderful idea is now in its 5th year, and this Christmas, in every veterans hospital in this country, there were gifts from Eddie Cantor because of his appeal. But tonight, Eddie, we have a gift for you. On behalf of all the wounded war veterans in these United States, I'm going to present this beautiful silver plaque to you, Eddie. And I'd like to read the inscription on this plaque. It reads, To Eddie Cantor, whose unselfish devotion to our wounded war veterans, behind his great campaign, Give a Gift to a Yank Who Gave, has placed over 10 million presents in the hands of those who so richly deserve to be remembered each Christmas. Those who might otherwise be forgotten. May the simple inscription on this plaque remind Eddie Cantor in the years that lie ahead that his kindness will live in the hearts of this nation, a nation that already holds him in fond esteem and considers this but another example of his perseverance in the cause of democracy.
Thank you, Bill. I want you to know that I do appreciate this. And with God's help, we'll carry on.
Thank you very much, Eddie Cantor. Reel 3, Portrait of the Past. Tonight, as you know, we're broadcasting from Hollywood. Hollywood, a fabulous city where, strangely enough, it's named after a racehorse. Horse racing has produced many great stories, but it's auto racing that's produced the most fantastic story of them all. A short time ago, a story appeared in a national magazine about auto racing. Perhaps you read the story, and perhaps you didn't. But regardless of whether you did or you didn't, it's such an incredible story that it's worth hearing tonight. For this is the story of a racing car. Years ago, this particular racing car first came into prominence when it was purchased by a young Austrian sportsman. It was a powerful car, 12 cylinders, long, low, and sleek. The young Austrian sportsman was proud of his racing car, so proud that he decided to take his family on a trip in the car. Happily, they started out, but they hadn't gone far when suddenly the heavy car skidded. The car was out of control. It skidded off the road, plunged down the mountainside, rolling over and over until finally it hit a tree with a terrific crash. That sportsman and his entire family were killed in that crash. And yet, despite the fact that the car was wrecked, it was not demolished. It could be rebuilt, and it was rebuilt. Next, that racing car came into the possession of two Italian drivers. They rebuilt the car, and they entered it in the grand prize race from Spain to France. These two Italians were men of great skill and courage, and in that race from Spain to France, they were out in the lead. They were nearing the finish line when suddenly a tire blew out. The car went out of control, roared across the track, crashed into a concrete wall. This racing car had taken 2 more human lives. Yet, strangely enough, even after that second tragedy, the car was once again rebuilt. And again it came into the possession of another racing driver. One day this other driver was racing that ill-fated car. Again the car was out on the lead, when suddenly once again it went out of control. The driver froze as he saw that car heading directly for the crowded stands. On that fatal day, 7 more lives were snuffed out by this same racing car as it crashed into the grandstand. That's the incredible tale of a racing star that brought death to 13 people, and every word of it up to here has been printed in Collier's magazine. Wait, there's still more to this fantastic story. For according to another source, the most unbelievable part of this story about this racing car allegedly took place in 1910, for a strange team of racing drivers were driving this car that year. The driver of this team was nicknamed Rick. His mechanic was called Sergei. No one thought that Rick and Sergei had a chance in the race that year. However, on the day of the race, Rick and Sergei were in the lead, when suddenly, once again, the car went out of control. Only this time, that jinxed racing car, which had brought death to those 13 people, did crash. Then, as it crashed on this time, as it had so many times before, this jinxed racing car did not bring death in its wake. Instead, Rick and Sergei got out of that wrecked car alive. It's lucky they did. These two, who were only driving that car as a hobby, were 2 of the greatest musicians that the world has ever known. For you see, Rick was the most famous singer in the world. His full name was Enrico Caruso. This driving partner, Sergei, was one of the world's greatest pianists. For you see, his full name was Sergei Rachmaninoff. And it was he who wrote one of the world's most famous classical numbers, Rachmaninoff's Prelude in C sharp minor. Well, that's the story. The incredible story of a racing car that brought death to 13 people and yet did not bring death to 2 of the world's greatest musicians, Enrico Caruso and Sergei Rachmaninoff. But wait a minute. Even stranger than that is the fact that it was this same car in which the Archduke Ferdinand of Austria was riding when he was murdered at Sarajevo. A murder that started the First World War. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the 3-0 mark for tonight. After tonight, we leave Hollywood, California, and head back to New York, where next Friday night we'll be back same time, same stations. Our guest will be the lightweight champion of the world, Ike Williams. See you then. Till then, I'll be seeing you on the screen in the News of the Day newsreel at your favorite Lowe's or Associated Theaters. Now, until next Friday night, this very same time, this is Bill Stern wishing you all a good night from Hollywood.
Bill Stern, the Colgate Shave Cream Man, is on his way. Bill Stern, the Colgate Shave Cream Man, had lots to say. He told you tales of sport heroes, the inside dope he really knows. So listen in next Friday night. Colgate.
Bill Stern's latest Columbia sports short entitled Flying Fins is now playing in the nation's theaters. Look for it at your local theater.
Fascinating and amazing stories from Bill Stern. The Bill Stern's Colgate Sports Newsreel, January 7th, 1949. You have to know, and you heard him say that, some facts, some fiction. And there's a reason why that was said in the show. Bill Davidson, in a 1978 interview, one of Stern's writers, said, "Every week another writer and I, on Stern's direction, would unabashedly make up so-called true sports stories, mostly about historical characters who were dead and could not protest. One of my classics was about Abraham Lincoln, who, having been assassinated at Ford's Theater in Washington, regained consciousness just long enough to say to Secretary of War Stanton, "Tell General Abner Doubleday not to let baseball die." Well, after that whopper, NBC ordered Stern to label the dramatizations sports legends. The show ran from 1939 until 1956. It ran through 1953 on NBC. Actually, it began on the Blue Network in 1939, and then moved to ABC through 1956. And like I said, if you are at all familiar with Paul Harvey, you hear where Paul Harvey got his delivery. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite radio station. Visit my webpage, classicradio.stream, classicradio.stream. Stream our shows, learn about building classic radio programs. You can also learn about our social media links. You can buy me a copy. That helps us acquire additional classic radio collections. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.